Hello, welcome to episode 4 of Guitar Signals. Today we're going to do something for my buddy Mark. We're going to be working on my half of the song Stars and Moons by Dizzy. We're covering it together. And so he had previously put down some rhythm guitar and he had asked me to kind of figure out lead guitar parts of it. But I've been really busy as I created a company in November and I've been flying to market trying to get things to take off. So I've been just really busy lately. But this cool new Groove Seeker channel that we just created and the guitar signal thing kind of opened the door for doing this kind of experimentation, because like yesterday we did Oh Me and we just kind of sat with the song for about 30 minutes. There's different kinds of videos on YouTube. You know, you'll often see a guitar tutorial that just tells you exactly how to play a song. Like if you want to learn how to play You Enjoy Myself by Fish, you don't want to hear a guy ramble on for 30 minutes about it. But if you want to learn how to write a song, then you might want to have a conversation with a songwriter for 30 minutes. It's kind of a different experience. And I think that this channel is kind of going to be some of those more thoughtful meetings and less mechanical. There are other people who just teach you straight how to write a song. How to play a song in 3 minutes or whatever. So today I thought that we could sit with the song Stars and Moons by Dizzy. And this can be kind of win-win-win. Yeah, triple wins. Because one, we'll get my part kind of worked on for my friend. Maybe we'll even figure it out. Two, we'll get a new video for this channel, which allows you guys to kind of get to see my process, especially the newcomers. The beginners to guitar might want to kind of just see how it's done. You know, how is a song figured out in real time. Like I'm not using sheet music. We're just going to figure the song out with a guitar pick and a guitar and our ears. And then third is that I play at open mic nights pretty regularly lately, and I really do like this song, and so it might be a cool thing to add if I like it. But I think that's very likely going to happen, because I did practice the song a little bit last week just to get to know the lyrics a little bit and know what the song is about. It's a really cool song. You should look it up. Stars and Moons by Dizzy. And it has some meaning to it too. So cool song. You can find it on Spotify and YouTube and stuff. But today we're going to just figure out how to play it. So, how do you learn how to play a song that you've never played before? There's different ways. One way is you sit down with a musician like me who knows how to play a song, and you learn it from being around that musician. And when I was in college, I had a friend named Josh who was like this. His mind was just full of songs. And I was somebody who could quickly learn songs. I could learn a song in a couple minutes. And so him and I were a really great band together because he could teach me a song that we wanted to perform and I could memorize it in a few minutes. So one way of learning guitar is to just sit with somebody who is more experienced than you. So for many of you guys, you can sit with me. Another way to learn guitar is to buy these kinds of songbooks. You know, so this is the Jimi Hendrix songbook. And every single page has every single string that you're supposed to hold down and every single fret that you're supposed to hold down. And I will say that that kind of information is useful for certain things. If you want to be able to play a Jimi Hendrix solo exactly the way he plays it, or if you want to be able to play anything exactly the way that he plays it, then you should practice playing it exactly the way that he plays it and very slowly until you get it. And so you'll find these kinds of very technical guitar books all over the place. You can order them on any platform that sells guitar books. Let me just check. Yeah, and there's different ways that you can use them too. Because these books, like I'm looking at this one page and it splits up the vocals guitar 1, guitar 2, bass, and drums. And so each one of these pages is stacked full of information. And if you're like me, that can be kind of overwhelming. So I don't really learn from these kinds of books very well. But sometimes I'll want to sit with a guitar solo and I'll do it. But I really am not the biggest fan of these kinds of books. For me, when I want to learn how to play Jimi Hendrix, that kind of book can be useful for filling in the dots. But what I try to do is just learn the chord progression. And so for Little Wing, for instance, it goes. And so that part, I had to spend a lot of time in that book to figure out, you know, you start here and slide it back and then you go dun, 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 and then stuff. But I think what really helped me figure out the song was when I learned what the chord progression of the song was. Because then it went from being this really technical piece that I could barely play into being something that had some soul to it. So instead of just this really technical thing, the song actually goes. So even the chord progression is pretty complex. What is wrong? So even the chord progression is pretty complex. But once you learn the chord progression, then the details become easier. And so if it starts at E minor, this is E minor at the 12th fret. And so you get that in your head. Starting up there, and then is the E minor. Those are the two notes you hold down when you're playing an E minor. And it goes to the G. Anyway, that's Jimi Hendrix Little Wing. We're not doing that today. It's a much more complex song, so we'll do that another day. But the point is, that kind of technical book is not a great place to start if you're a beginner. If you're a beginner, you should start with books that are more focused on chord progressions, not books that are going to overwhelm you with tablature, unless your mind isn't like mine and the numbers don't freak you out. If you're totally fine with tablature books, then for sure dive in, totally disregard my advice, because my advice is only for my own brain in this situation. And so other books that I have, let's see, I'm pretty sure I got Grateful Dead. Yeah, see, and you're not gonna be able to see it, but this book doesn't have those numbers on the pages at all. It's just the chords and the lyrics. And so learning from these kinds of books is a lot easier. So let me pick a page. Box of Rain. I'm not ready for Box of Rain right now. Brown Eyed Woman's a pretty cool song. So this book, so Brown Eyed Woman by the Grateful Dead goes. So, that's right. I like it better without it, with a capo, I think. Nah, I'm not gonna do that song. I remember I figured out an easier way later on. But like Fire on the Mountain. So Fire on the Mountain looks like C and B flat. So yeah. Long distance runner, what you standing there for? See see, we're learning this song right now. And so that's possible to do because this book is just the lyrics and the chords. So that's very good if you're just a singer-songwriter. You don't need to know what the bass player is doing and what the drummer is doing and what guitar 1 and guitar 2. Different books have different purposes. And so this Grateful Dead book that is just chords and lyrics, and you know, it's music notation too. So a piano player could play it too, or anyone who can read music. But many of us guitar players didn't learn how to read music that way. We just learned chords. So anyway, Fire in the Mountain is C and B flat. So just want to talk to the beginners and say that there's different kinds of guitar books, you know, and if you have them side by side, they look exactly the same. And so you might buy a book about the Grateful Dead, and you might buy the same book. I mean, you might also buy a book on Jimi Hendrix, and you might assume that two are going to be just as beneficial to your learning, but your mind might be ready for one and not the other. Another way that people learn is on the internet. So you can find guitar tablature online. On the internet, information quality can be lower. So what you'll find with tablature is sometimes that there'll be 10 different versions of the same song. But these days is a lot easier than in the early 2000s, where it was much messier. And these days you have community voting. And so the community upvotes kind of bubble the highest quality or most accurate information about a song to the top. So the internet's a pretty good place to learn songs too. But the reason we're watching this video, we're not going to take a video of me reading out of a book and learn how to play a song. That's really not even my preferred way to learn how to play a song. I learn by listening. If I hear anything, I can figure it out pretty quickly what it is, unless it's a very technical song. I wish that I could just very easily slow songs down in Spotify to like a tenth of their speed or something like that, but I don't have that capability today. Because if I had that, any song in the world would just unlock, I feel like. But for learning out chord progression, for figuring out chord progressions and things like that, YouTube and Spotify are great. My favorite way to learn is actually with headphones. And so what I'll do is I learned this from hanging out with DJs in the early Groove Seeker days. I'll put headphones on, but just like DJs in a nightclub, I'll have one headphone off so I can hear out of it. And so this allows me to hear the song really, really well, but it also allows me to sing and hear myself singing, and allows me to hear myself playing while also listening to the song and making sure that that I'm in tune and everything like that. So my favorite way to learn is just turn on Spotify, get a good pair of headphones, and just try to play along with the musicians. Because in practice, this is how you're going to learn if you ever make a band with people. You're going to have jam sessions, and somebody's will be like, oh yeah, I learned the song this weekend. It goes, whatever. And you're going to learn by looking at their hands and be like, okay, that's C, that's G. But you don't need to look at their hands. Like if you've been playing guitar long enough, you'll be able to pick out which chords they're on just by figuring out which note they're on. And so if they're playing this chord, then you can start here and be like, no. Yeah, right there. And so what note is that? That's the C. Right. So you can figure things out by ear, and you should really practice learning how to play songs by ear. Because then you don't need books, you don't need to look on the internet, you can literally mimic birds if you want to, do anything with your guitar. So learn how to play by ear. That's my recommendation. Again, I don't like to be dogmatic or anything, I have pretty strong opinions about things. But you know, everybody learns differently, and everybody's mind is different. So I don't want to take a video of me listening to a song on headphones. I'd rather, because then it's not going to really make sense what I'm doing. You're going to just have a video of me playing the guitar. So I thought, let's push play on this video, and we'll just see what happens. And when we get to the lead parts, I'm going to kind of focus and see if I can pick out what they're doing on that. So I'll stop talking and just start playing music now. Stars and Moons by Dizzy. The chords for this are A minor, G, and D. So this is a very easy song to play. See? And you can figure out the chords by just with the notes, see? So you can even tune your guitar by ear once you tune your ear. Okay, like that. It's weird. Spotify reset it, but let me get the lyrics to pop up. That way I can actually sing and play. Or try. So my job is to play lead. So instead of playing open chords, I'm playing with these chords. Because then I can do stuff like this. But if you want to play the chords, it just goes like this. A minor, G, D, A minor, G, D. Get used to playing minimal. You don't need to fill every second with a note. This is how it ends, a courageous boom. And it's awful sad how two lovers bloom. I am trying to see stars and moons. So that's how the song goes. So see, you could just put it on Spotify or YouTube or whatever and just kind of play with the video. So this song was easy to learn because it's just 3 chords to the entire song. Just A minor, G, D. A minor, G, D. A lot of the best things are just simple. Folk music is really simple like that. Like it just feels really calming, like the ocean. You know, it's just repetitive. So I'll always love songs like that. So my job is to kind of learn the lead for the song. And so stuff like that. I'm starting to see stars and moons. See, I don't even know the lyrics very well. Let me find what minute the solo starts, because that's where we need to be. Play. Oh, that's the wrong song now. So the solo starts at 3:05. 3:05. Sounds like those are the first 2 notes. Yeah. Is that all he's doing? Let's see. There's a lot of echo on it, so it's hard to hear. Yeah, that's the D. Good D. D chord. So yeah. Okay. Probably that shape. Maybe that. So that doesn't sound like a good solo. That sounds like when you figured out the notes and then you have to spend about a month on it. Not really a month, but it takes time to figure out how things actually go together and how things work. You know, you don't just figure out the notes and then magically understand how to play it just right. You know, it takes time to kind of absorb a song. I often talk about absorbing a song. So let's not make this go forever. This is our first dig at this song. But I would say that we've kind of gotten to where the lead parts are. So it starts at 305. And we know that this is roughly the notes area to the triad right there, to D, which we can also do like, yeah. And you can do all kinds of things with these notes. So it's just important to kind of play along more and more and more and more until you just absorb it, till you just know the song. Like you'll know when you know the song because it's just no effort to sing it and play anymore. It just feels like it's a part of you. And so Oh Me is kind of like that now, and Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing is like that for me now. But this simple song isn't like that for me now. So the chords are easy enough, just A minor, G, D. But like I just looked up the lyrics to the song and I can kind of get a sense for the meaning of it, so I can feel the song, but I haven't really even absorbed the meaning of it. I can also tell a recent thing that I've noticed about learning to be a singer, songwriter, or even just play other people's songs, is that I never sang my entire life, and so I just never really paid attention to lyrics. And lately I've been getting into lyrics for the first time in my life, so I'm super duper late to that game. And I've been doing like trying to get into the meaning behind songs, because like lyrics say one thing, but lyrics only tell part of the picture. Just like Alice in Wonderland actually has a lot more to that story based on real history. And a lot of things in the world are like that. There's stories behind the story kind of thing. And so I like to get to the story behind the story for lyrics. And one thing that I've noticed is that, man, there is an overwhelming emotional impact on me when a song actually connects with me. You know, like I've never had that with playing guitar before. And I'd never had that with just, learning poetry or reading literature. But there is something about singing and playing guitar at the same time, and when those lyrics just become a part of you or something. I can't even explain it. I have no idea what it is. It's puzzling to me. So it's pretty emotional. It's really cool stuff. And this song kind of feels like just a simple love song, but there's some depth to it. I wouldn't say it's the deepest love song ever, but it's a really cool song. So I'll keep working on it and we'll make more videos. So maybe next time, I don't know if I'll do this for the next video, you know, we'll come back to it later after I've had some progress to show you more. But this is a little bit about how I dive into a song. You know, I showed you that we start with a book, or we start, you know, there's different types of books, or you hang out with your friend, like my old friend Josh in college, or me to you now, if you're less experienced than me. It's good to sit with somebody else, and it's good to just take your time, you know, and slow down, you know. Don't feel like you need everything super duper fast. Not everything needs to be 3-minute tutorials on how to do this thing. Songs I don't think are just something to rush through. I don't think that you can just speed learn anything. You can speed learn notes, but I don't think you can just absorb a song just by zipping through it. It's, you know, it's like being in a race car and ignoring the scenery as you're driving on a highway. So it's good to just kind of feel a song, you know, feel the chord progressions and just play the chord progressions. You know, instead of using a guitar pick, use just your fingers. Sounds different when you're just pinching strings. And that's what it sounds like when I'm only using the padding of my strings. And if my fingers. And if I use the nails, then it's like a pick. See? It has more brightness. And if I do kind of like Travis picking, where I'm just using the back of my finger, it sounds like that. So you don't even need a guitar pick. But the point is, play with the same song and play it with different styles. You know, take a folk song and try to play with a distortion pedal. You know, that's always a cool thing to do. Take a church song and play it through a metal zone pedal. It's freaking cool. Do all kinds of crazy stuff with guitar. You're supposed to experiment with it. That's how you learn. So I hope you enjoyed this little how David learns music kind of thing. You know, we didn't really go super duper far. This song just has 3 chords. So, but I just kind of wanted you to see the process a little bit. Hope I didn't waste too many of you guys' time, but this is how I do it. Okay. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe.